Hello and welcome to the very first West Coast Today podcast with me, Owen Wild.
Me, Sandy Neal.
Me, Fiona Scott.
And me, Kathy Griffiths.
Well, this is the podcast that lets you know some of our stories making the headlines this week online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk and in the printed edition of this week's Oban Times and also the Lochaber Times. We love hearing your stories, so why not drop us an email at editor@obantimes.co.uk or contact us through our socials. You can also give us a call on 01631 568000. So, it's over to Sandy to give us our first batch of headlines. Sandy, what have you been working on this week?
Thank you very much, Owen. Well, Scotland's beautiful beaches are being hit by a tide of plastic litter and dead wildlife, but support is growing for an island schoolgirls campaign to stop it. Residents around Loch Long, say ministers, have overturned democracy by allowing a controversial fish farm to be built near Arrochar. And plans have been revealed for a new marina and leisure resort near Oban.
Well, thank you very much, Sandy. Now we're heading north to Lochaber. Fee, what's been going on?
Well, community strength has been to the fore in Lochaber this week following the crash on the A830 south of Arisaig last Thursday night that resulted in the death of 3 local teenagers. All 3 boys were rising stars in the Fort William sporting circuit, and tributes were paid at football and shinty matches around the region last Saturday. Lochaber High School and local youth organisations are offering support to anyone struggling to come to terms with the tragedy. I speak for all of us at the Lochaber Times and Oban Times in sending our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of Fergus, Lewis and Jordan. Elsewhere in the LT this week, we have been finding out what a 69-year-old Fort William woman did to raise money for an ancient pine forest where ospreys nest, and we look at the local candidates who have put themselves forward for the Coolin Mallig by-elections later this month. Remember, you can catch up on all your Lochaber news by hitting the Lochaber Times button on the www.westcoasttoday.co.uk website.
Thank you very much, Fee. Well, it's good news for Oban as work begins on the town's new home bargain store at long last. Oban Pride was this weekend, and it brought a splash of colour to the town in a lovely moment of unity for the local LGBTQ community. You can find a video of the parade through the town online at www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. And St John's Cathedral needs your help to raise funds for a new organ. The cathedral's former instrument has unfortunately ended up broken beyond repair after years of service, and the replacement is quite expensive. A list of events have been organised in the church and around the town to raise money for said replacement. You can find details in this week's Oban Times. And last but not least, it's over to Kathy.
Thank you very much. Well, Minecraft fans may soon be able to explore Easdale Island, home of this Saturday's World Stone Skimming Championships. They won't even have to leave their screens. Plans are well underway to preserve the island's history and come up with a new exhibit for its 45-year-old folk museum by using the Minecraft software. If the Easdale project is successful, the interior of the folk museum as an historic cottage and the island's Worldstone Skimming Championships quarry will be among the latest additions to the phenomenon that has become the world's best-selling video game. Still all a bit of a mystery to me, but Owen, I know you're going to do your best to explain to me how it works. The good news for those folks over there is that the Vinci Foundation has also just announced that it's awarding the museum £6,380 to make it happen. Remember, if you actually fancy seeing a bit of stone skimming for real, you can get yourself down to Easdale this weekend. It's happening on Saturday. There's going to be some Selkie tour buses running from Oban to Eleanor Beck on the day. There's also going to be a shuttle service from Clackenseal down to the ferry to get you across as well, which will save on parking down in the village. So there you go, lots to do this weekend. And in other news, we have a warning story about the dangers of ticks and Lyme disease here in Argyll, something we should all be aware of. I've been chatting to Alexander McGrigor, whose family are raising thousands of pounds for the Lyme Research Centre charity after he contracted the disease following a bite he got in the hills around his home in Dalmally. The part-time farmer was left barely able to walk, and severe brain fog made even communicating difficult. That was back in 2023. He's been on quite a journey and is still dealing with the consequences. You can read all about that in the paper and online. Something that I learned, you don't always develop the bullseye rash that can signal the infection, so you really need to be on your guard if you think you've had a bite. Keep an eye on it and go to the docs if you need checking out.
Sound advice. Thank you very much, Kathy. Well, that's all we have for you today. Remember to pick up your copy of the Oban Times and Lochaber Times in all your usual retailers, or you can read it online via the e-editions on www.westcoasttoday.co.uk. Come back next week for another podcast, and for now, it's goodbye from me, Owen Wild.
Goodbye from me, Sandy Neal.
Bye from me, Fiona Scott.
And goodbye from me, Kathy Griffiths.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, hey.